There are tens of thousands of homeless people living on the streets. Tens of thousands. And that number is growing. What we think we need today with respect to housing and shelter is only going to grow, which means we have to have a system, a platform that can scale. The city's anti-encampment ordinance was passed, which makes homelessness effectively illegal. And yet, there's no shelter. Only a fraction of the homeless population can be housed in current shelters. And there's no way that's being proposed which increases that capacity in any meaningful way. So we're going to do that. We're going to increase the capacity substantially. Given the crisis, we're going to provide emergency shelter while affordable housing is being built. Because affordable housing is not going to be built at the scale we need it, in the timeline we need it. First priority, house the homeless. So we created a 10-step plan for community shelters which uses the emergency power authority of the mayor to direct resources and personnel to address the housing emergency. This kind of power, when used appropriately, can be very effective because it allows the government to call a crisis a crisis. In this 10-step plan, we're going to locate as many of these community shelters in vacant and underutilized industrial areas. By doing that, we can create really beautiful, walkable, green, colorful, vibrant spaces in the city that allow homelessness and affordable housing to flourish. Housing will not be successful if it is not humane. And the lack of success so far with respect to homeless and affordable housing can be attributed, at least in part, to the fact that the kind of housing being built is not at all adequate to meet the needs beyond shelter that people have. And so these community shelters will provide for community living. You can have education, art, dance, job training, relaxation, food, and work. The shared facilities within these community shelters can improve the lives of the people living there. These housing complexes do not need to be monotonous, homogeneous places. Every building, every complex can be different. It can be unique to its area, and it can house any number of people within the homeless population. If one complex needs to be specifically for mental health, it can be that. If one complex needs to be specifically for addiction, it can be that. For elderly, it can be that. For youth, it can be that. The cost of these communal shelters will be a fraction of what's being spent on homeless housing today, and can house the entire homeless population much more quickly than the prospects of the housing being built today. So why not benefit everybody? Build housing that the people who are living there will love, and provide a bridge to a future where we will always have temporary shelter that is good and humane and well-designed and green for anybody who might find themselves in the throes of homelessness. Anybody that might fall into the trap of poverty, even if for a brief period of time.